What's going on, Fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the Novice Nose out here in these fragrance streets. And today I'm coming to you guys with a review, finally, of a fragrance that has been seemingly taken over the fragrance community as far as the intrigue that surrounds it. Now, the fragrance I'm referring to is this one, LATTAFA ATLAS. LATTAFA ATLAS is one of those, and you know, here's the outside of the box while I got it up here. But LATTAFA ATLAS is one of those fragrances that seems to have taken the community by storm. And I think it's because of a couple of different factors. Number one, it's powerful. And people are really into powerful fragrances. And the other is that it's affordable. It's very affordable. It's damn near cheap. So, but it doesn't smell like it. So people are usually intrigued when I can marry affordable with powerful. Those two things go hand in hand. Before I even get into the fragrance a little bit, like I said, I want to go ahead and show you the box, but also show you the bottle. So I love this bottle. This bottle is amazing. So check this out, right? It's nice and simple and clean. There we go. Look at that Atlas here. It's nice, simple, clean. The box itself, by the way, has a textured inside. If you can see, it's coffin style. It has the little imprinted velvet here for the bottle itself. Inside looks like this, of course. Just fits in snugly. But yeah, the bottle is nice. It's unique. It's the lid on this thing is heavy as hell. Like I know that was probably hurt your ears. I apologize, but it is very heavy duty as far as this top goes. It's almost like a faux type of stone or whatever. It fits perfectly with the bottle style. I mean, it's a beautiful bottle. It's something beautiful to look at, man. Now, one of the misnomers that I saw online about this is the note breakdown, right? So if you go to Fragrantica and you look at the notes on this particular fragrance, I'm going to pull them up right now. The notes that Fragrantica are showing seem to be a little bit inconsistent with what LATTAFA says is in it. Not just LATTAFA says on their website, because they've been wrong on their website before, but what it says on the box. So the notes on Atlas on Fragrantica read as follows. The top notes is salt, seed notes, and lemon. The middle note says Divana and iris. And then the base notes here are ambergris, oak moss, and sandalwood, right? When you smell the fragrance, you don't necessarily pick all of those things up. Although for some strange reason, I pick up a little faint bit of lemon freshness in there somewhere. But anyway, the actual notes on the box though say a completely different story. So the notes on the box here, and they're on the inside. It's kind of hard to see, but they're written here on the inside. You know, I had to pick up my trusty, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to blind you. Pick up my trusty dusty phone light here. And the top notes come up as aquatic and sea notes. And aquatic can mean anything, basically. The heart notes are jasmine and cologne, or cologne. And the base notes are cedarwood, atlas, musk, and ambroxan. So I pick up all of these. Everything that the LATTAFA box is putting down, I'm picking up in this particular fragrance, right? So I'm more in line to believe and go with the actual breakdown that LATTAFA has on the inside of the box on this particular fragrance, right? So as far as the fragrance itself, you guys have probably heard a lot about this thing already because of the 2 points that I made a little bit earlier. It's powerful and it's cheap. And there's a lot of people who were online encouraging people to pick this up as a blind buy and all that kind of stuff because it was so powerful. They would say that the fragrance is good, it's awesome, it's amazing, and to each his own. But I think a lot of that talk came from the way it performs. So let me just tell you off the top, you definitely get aquatic and sea notes from this. You pick up a little bit of saltiness in there. It is definitely a top note that makes you feel very much like you're by the ocean. They say aquatic as far as the scent profile of this, but when I get it, when I smell it, it's not even aquatic. It's like it almost surpasses aquatic. It comes into that oceanic territory. Like I said, you're kind of inundated with the aquaticness of this. You definitely feel that freshness though, from the way that the fragrance presents. Like I say, for some reason I pick up a little bit of lemon in the background, and that just could be my head playing with me, or it could be an effect of the way that the cologne and jasmine kind of marry together and push on that top note when you get it. It could be that, and you do pick up a little bit of that floralness from the jasmine, and pick up a lot of the cologne. I go between cologne and cologne, but yeah. Anyway, you feel like you just put your head up underwater, you picked it up, and somebody threw you a bottle of water and said, "Here you go." That's kind of what I get from it. Some people are, kind of differentiate. That being said, it is a fresh type of scent. It's a thicker type of freshness, but it is fresh when you wear it. It's not light by any means. There's nothing light about this particular fragrance. But as you kind of go into the dry down a little bit on this thing, you start to pick up a little bit more of the cedar and ambroxan and musk. And the other thing about this is that, like I said, it's linear, but it's not linear in a bad way. It's well blended linear. So you can have a fragrance that goes through a lot of changes and everything, and that's nice, but sometimes you want something that's gonna kind of stay the same from the time you spray it until the time it wears off. This one is that for the most part, and you get in your first spray the overwhelmingness of that, the aquaticness of it, saltiness, and a little bit of that freshness, but it gets more and more fresh into that first, I say 15-30 minutes of the dry down, and then after that it kind of stays in that linear, slightly aquatic, slightly oceanic, because it's a stronger aquatic, but slightly oceanic, ambroxan heavy type of fragrance throughout the rest of the life of the fragrance. Speaking of the life of the fragrance, this stuff is nuclear. You guys know that already because you probably already seen a lot of reviews talk about it. It lasts forever. When I first got this, I sprayed it just to kind of see what it was about, and I was one of those the first people who saw it online and just picked it up. Well, I sprayed it like 3 times before I'd even sprayed it on my hand. I sprayed it 3 times in the sink upstairs in my bathroom here, and man, my bathroom smelled like this stuff for almost a week. Like, it didn't matter how much I cleaned the bowl, how much I did whatever, you just got this inundation of the fragrance when you walked into that bathroom. And it took a while for it to like really calm down and kind of move out of that space. But some people really, that's one of the things that they dig a lot about this particular fragrance, is the fact that it does have lasting power. On skin, when I've worn this, maybe about 8 hours or so. I will say, once I put it through maceration and stuff, it calmed down a little bit. But it could just be that I'm nose blind to it. But yeah, I would say it goes 8 to 10 hours easily. And if you put this on clothes, Lord help you, man. It is definitely a performer. But yeah, it's. You notice one of the things that I haven't really mentioned about this particular fragrance is how good it smells, right? So this is where the review kind of turns into a little bit of a rant. As fragrance connoisseurs, technically, people who love fragrances. Many times when you see reviewers online, people who review fragrances, who are really in love and have a passion for fragrance, many times they are in it for the artistry of a particular fragrance. They're in it to see the art, the variation, and the way that these things are blended and crafted. It's almost like when you go into a museum and you look at paintings, and there's some paintings that, true artists, artist connoisseurs or art connoisseurs look at those paintings and they say to themselves, like, that is just beautiful. It's the way that they crafted it and the meaning, and they go into all of those things. They go into the nuance of these particular, pieces of art that are on the wall. You may look at that particular piece of art and say, but that's a whole big jumble mess pile of shit, right? So it's really, art is in the eye of the beholder, the same way that fragrance is as well. So many times online, what I see is a lot of people who check out videos from TLTG or Justin Copeland or people like that, and people who are really passionate about the artistry and the way that fragrances are crafted. And people look at those particular fragrances and they say to themselves, oh, that has to be a great fragrance. That's going to get me plenty of compliments. And that's not necessarily the case, right? Just because a fragrance is very well put together and blended in the most artistic way doesn't mean that it's a compliment magnet. Some people are in there, and a lot of the fragrance reviewers, especially the ones that have huge collections, many of them are in it for the artistry of the fragrance. They're not necessarily in it for the compliment pulling ability of a particular fragrance. I think what happened with this fragrance, with Atlas, is that you had a lot of reviewers that reviewed this and said how, wonderful a fragrance it was, and how it was just this stellar performing fragrance. And a lot of people bought this fragrance thinking, okay, it's great, and because it's great, it's going to pull me compliments and things like that. There are some people who are in the fragrance game for the compliments. They're not in it for the artistry. They just want to smell good. For example, I love Beau de Jour. I think Beau de Jour is an amazing fragrance, right? And, just being around some of the other people who are into fragrance, they love it. They love the artistry behind it, how it develops. I mean, it's a lavender oil bomb, but hey, But other people, when they're around it, it is not the biggest compliment getter. It's one of those fragrances that people smell and they're like, oh my God. And the fragrance that this is based on, Eau de Parisi Meglomere, it's very similar scenario. I've heard people talk about that fragrance for the longest, but one of the things they never say is how good it smells. They always say how it's, so artistically put together. But it's not a compliment puller. It's not something you're going to wear and you want to go out on the town and pull compliments from people and things. That's not what that is. And to be completely honest, that's not what this is. If you buy this and you're thinking, I'm going to get this, because the reviewers online harp on this particular fragrance and think about it being, talk about it being so wonderful and everything, I'm going to get this and it's going to be great. Not exactly, right? So I do appreciate this fragrance. I like how it's put together. It's so well blended, and for the price of, paired with the powerfulness of this particular fragrance, I think it's a great deal for people who love the artistic art of fragrance. But if you're out there looking for a fragrance that is going to pull you compliments, something that is going to impress her on the first date, something that people are going to break their necks looking at you when you walk by, this is not it. They may break their necks when you walk by, but it's because they're trying to turn their nose the other way because it's so powerful. This is a fragrance that is crafted to remind you of ocean. And everybody you walk around is going to be thinking ocean. They're not going to be thinking how fresh you smell, and sometimes, hey, you may get a fresh compliment every once in a while. But for the most part, they're thinking ocean. This is definitely not a first date fragrance or anything like that, man. That's all I got for right now, man. Hey, if you have had experience with this particular fragrance, which I know a lot of you guys have, leave a comment. Let me know what your experience has been with this particular fragrance, man. And as always, like the video, man. Subscribe to the channel. Continue to grow this community. I think it's going well, and I love interacting with you guys. And also, make sure you share this video with someone you love that loves fragrances. Until next time, guys, peace out. See you.